Hello guys, welcome back. Today, I'm going to be talking about Alexis Lafreniere and if he's the best player since Connor McDavid. Now, Alexis Lafreniere is a special draft talent, a guy that's projected to be the first overall pick in the 2020 NHL draft, and a guy that's been compared to a lot of great players, including guys like Sidney Crosby. But is he as good as Connor McDavid, and is he the best pick since Connor McDavid? Watch till the end to find out. Right now I'm stuck in beautiful Utah. We went to New Mexico, on to Colorado, and now we're on to the Utah part of the vacation, chilling next to this great fire pit right now. I'm just living the good life right now, but we got the Alexis Lafreniere versus Connor McDavid debate, and this is one that I think is not, I would say, too close, but it's a one that you might have a debate with. Now, when it comes to Alexis Lafreniere, he's a left winger, Connor McDavid is a center, so obviously the comparables there, position-wise, are not the greatest, but when it comes to pure talent level, when it comes to Connor McDavid, so far these past few drafts, Alexis Lafreniere is probably the best comparable when it comes to potential, and right now the best talent. Now, for comparison's sake, I'm going to pull at McDavid's prior draft year, and of course his draft year with the Erie Otters. Now, before his draft year, in the 2013-2014 season, he played 56 games in the OHL, got 28 goals, 71 assists for 99 points. In his draft year, he got 47 games played with Erie, got 44 goals, 76 assists for 120 points overall. Now, comparing Alexis Lafreniere there, he's a QMJHLer, so it obviously is different, but he was a monster in the OHL, and obviously in his draft year, just broke record after record. Now, comparing that to Lafreniere's prior draft year, he last season got 61 games played, got 37 goals, 68 assists for 105 points. Now, in his draft year this next upcoming season, we had yet to really know how many points they'll end up getting, but to me, it'll probably be around the 120 to 130 range. That's, I think, realistic when it comes to him. Rimouski is a fantastic team also, so that factors into it. But even if he got 130 points, I don't think he'd have a better year than Connor McDavid did in his draft year, mostly because OHL points are a lot harder to come by, and he did have some excellent teammates in Erie, guys like Alex DeBrincat come to mind, but even when it comes to Lafreniere in Rimouski, he has a great team around him, especially offensively. Now, comparing McDavid and Lafreniere when it comes to size is basically non-existent. Both players are 6'1". The pound difference isn't really too major even, and again, they're a few years apart, so that's pretty staggering too. Lafreniere is 17, he's already 6'1", and he could probably grow maybe a couple of inches too if everything goes right for him, but just overall, Lafreniere already has that NHL build. He already has a guy that can compete physically in the NHL. While the QMJHL obviously isn't the greatest physical league to get prepared for the NHL, Lafreniere will be in the NHL year one, especially with 6'1" size. I think coaches will trust that and not just make him an NHL player in year one, but will give him a lot of ice time, as they should. Now, a couple months back, I made a video discussing Alexis Lafreniere and if he's a generational NHL prospect. And when it comes to me, I still kind of hold these same opinions in that video. I don't think he's a generational prospect, but he's about as close as it comes. Mostly because you already got Connor McDavid, who I think is this generation's generational player. For me, generational is something I do not throw out a lot. And to me, it has to be like every single decade there is a generational player. And this decade is Connor McDavid. Next decade might still be Connor McDavid. So for Alexis Lafreniere to really get that generational handle, he'll really have to do something big and a lot better than Connor McDavid for me to really get that much better stock on him. And again, to get on the QMJHL, it'll be a little bit hard. You'll always have a little bit of doubters since it is the QMJHL. But for me, Alexis Lafreniere, again, he could be a generational guy to other guys that maybe say that there's 3 generational players per decade. But to me, he is just shy. He's an elite franchise face 100%, and will be that for whoever gets that first overall pick. But just like the 2015 draft, you got tons of other options outside of Lafreniere to choose from. Just like in 2015, you got Jack Eichel, and you got one of the best drafts of all time. In 2020, that could be the exact same situation, where you have a top-end talent in Lafreniere, but you got guys like Lundell, Quinton, Byfield, Holtz, Raymond on top of that. There are just so many options when it comes to any other team that gets in that top 5, and Lafreniere is a fantastic prospect. But I think there's been some points made that the gap between everybody is not as big as we might have thought, and I do agree with that, especially after some of the recent tournaments that we've seen. Guys, again, like Lundell, Byfield, Holtz, Raymond, they've all proved themselves as elite NHL talents, as have Alexis Lafreniere. Now, for Alexis Lafreniere to be Connor McDavid level, that'll take a lot of effort in the QMJHL and then rising up to the NHL. And to me, I think he will have multiple 100-point seasons, but I don't think he'll be as good as Connor McDavid, at least not right now. But that's not the question of the video. The question of the video is if he's the best pick since Connor McDavid back in 2015? And I think that's an excellent question because we've seen some excellent talent come through the draft since then. Obviously, going back to 2016, you got Austin Matthews, Patrick Laine, and all the other solid draft picks you got in that draft. In 2017, you got Nico Hischier, you got great guys like Hel McCarr, Miro Heiskanen, Elias Pettersson, obviously. Then going to 2018, you obviously have Rasmus Dahlin, Evgeny Svechnikov, Jesperi Kotkaniemi, and going to this past draft, Jack Hughes, Capo Caco. So there is some excellent drafting since 2015, some excellent first overall picks too. And while I would say the closest Connor McDavid so far, besides obviously this 2020 draft, has been Rasmus Dahlin in terms of talent level and potential level. But right now when it comes to forwards, besides the 2020 draft, you go with guys like Elias Pettersson, who right now are looking like franchise talents. But going on the best pick of every draft since that 2015 draft, 2016 being Matthews, 2017 being Pettersson, 2018 being Rasmus Dahlin right now in 2019, in my opinion, being Capo Caco. In this 2020 draft, you got Alexis Lafreniere leading the pack there, and I think he'll be the first overall pick. In my opinion, while you got some great guys like Capo Caco, obviously, who I love, Rasmus Dahlin, who isn't too comparable being a defenseman, unfortunately, so that whole comparable was kind of void, but you got guys like, obviously, Nico Hischier, Elias Pettersson in 2017, and in 2016, you got amazing, almost generational talents in Austin Matthews. So for me, when it comes to the main contestants for the best pick since Connor McDavid, it comes down to three guys. One being Austin Matthews, the other being defenseman Rasmus Dahlin, and now being Alexis Lafreniere. And comparing all those guys, they're all different players, obviously. I would say Austin Matthews, when it comes to pure potential, might be the lowest, but it is close out of those groups. But even then, Austin Matthews is fantastic, and when healthy, I think can challenge a guy like Connor McDavid when it comes to Art Ross contention. But then you got Rasmus Dahlin, who is one of the best defensemen pretty much ever drafted. He'll be fantastic for Buffalo and could be the next best defenseman in the next decade. He has awesome potential too. And then going to Alexis Lafreniere, who again has one of the best potentials I think since Connor McDavid. I think he obviously factors into it. Now out of three, I'll knock off Austin Matthews off that group, and we'll go to Rasmus Dahlin versus Alexis Lafreniere for the best pick since Connor McDavid. To me, those are the last two guys, at least when it comes to pure potential. I think it's a super close battle between them. Obviously, bit different positions, so that does factor into it. And while Rasmus Dahlin had a fantastic rookie year, there's not too big of a sample size right now to judge how good he'll be in 5 years, but he will be pretty fantastic if he does stay healthy. And on the other side, you got Alexis Lafreniere, who in my opinion is the best forward prospect since Connor McDavid. And to me, again, it's such a close battle between Dahlin and Lafreniere for the best pick since McDavid. But to me, this 2020 draft, I think, just takes the cake. And to me, the best pick since Connor McDavid, I think, will be Alexis Lafreniere. Even when saying Lafreniere is the best prospect since Connor McDavid, it makes me hesitate a little bit since there's just so many other guys that are so good. Guys like Rasmus Dahlin, Austin Matthews, who we just talked about. But you can make the argument for Elias Pettersson, Capo Caco, Jack Hughes. It really is that wide open. But to me, Lafreniere is the best forward prospect since Connor McDavid, and for me right now, the best prospect since McDavid. And both Connor McDavid and Alexis Lafreniere have such great talent levels. Both guys are generational skill talents that have so much from their repertoire to just go through every single game and pick apart defenses like nothing. And Alexis Lafreniere doesn't have the speed that Connor McDavid does, but is still pretty good. And the stick handling, all the IQ that he brings as well, makes him such a lethal option, not just in the QMJHL, but in the future, the NHL. Now, Lafreniere excels at the positions that Connor McDavid might not be as good in, and vice versa, I would say. Obviously, Connor McDavid is that lethal skater with generational puck handling, while Lafreniere is a little bit different, has amazing IQ, has some solid defensive ability, and all around is a fantastic player on both sides of the ice. Now, Alexis Lafreniere, just like Connor McDavid, I think will make an immediate impact in the NHL. Even if he was placed in the NHL right now, before his draft year, I still think he'd be contention for the Calder Trophy. He is that good and that talented. And just like Connor McDavid in his first year, I think the only thing stopping him from the Calder Trophy is health. If Connor McDavid was healthy, he probably would have won the Calder Trophy. He was that lethal in his first year. I think Alexis Lafreniere will do the same. Now, it obviously depends on the team he goes with, because if he gets drafted by like the Ottawa Senators first overall, that might not be the case, and we might have to reserve expectations, but still, even then, Lafreniere is a game changer, and right now, a franchise face. And I think Lafreniere also has some same qualities when it comes to leadership too. Obviously, being on Team Canada, he's been on some great teams so far, and he has that experience so far, and I think for a team team like the Ottawa Senators, they could definitely use that. I don't think he's going to be made the captain for the team he gets drafted with as soon as Connor McDavid was with the Oilers, but I think, again, he's a franchise-changing guy that, for a team like Ottawa, could do so much good. Now, obviously, when it comes to Connor McDavid and the Oilers, he hasn't made them into this perennial superstar team, but I think for Alexis Lafreniere, he can have a better effect. Let's just hope he's not drafted by the Edmonton Oilers. But of course, with this kind of vacation vlog, I want to see your guys' thoughts down those comments down below. So let me know, what do you think about Alexis Lafreniere and the Connor McDavid debate? Do you think he's the best pick since Connor McDavid, or do you think that's some other player? Rasmus Dawn, Austin Matthews, or whoever. But if you guys want some more Grav videos just like this one, you can click on this card right here to watch all of my 2020 NHL draft coverage in a neat little playlist. It's a good deal. But that'll be it for today, guys. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell if you haven't already. Again, comment down below your thoughts on the debate between Alexis Lafreniere and Connor McDavid, and if he's the best pick since McDavid. I'm Nathan. I'm in Utah right now, just chilling. But I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Goodbye.